Hey, hello everyone. Yes, it is Amazon Security Lake next. So my name is Himanshu. I lead the team of our worldwide security specialists, and I am, as Kyle mentioned, overly excited to talk about Amazon Security Lake.
I've been excited for this one all week because I saw this announcement at reInvent, and it seems obvious, right? Something that customers need, and but I got a lot of questions. So why don't you give us the introduction to what this thing is before we kick this off?
Yeah, sure. So Amazon Security Lake is essentially a service that was announced at reInvent, and after working tirelessly for many months, the team actually worked backwards from listening to what customers really needed in this space to launch a service that helps centralize, organize, normalize the security data that's needed by security analysts in an enterprise-wide organization and bring all that information in one place in a very simple and easy way with a few clicks by keeping, the cost optimization and keeping the controls and ease of use as top of mind.
I love that. I mean, anything that can help make security easier, I'm just like a fan of. And it makes me wonder because we've had data lakes before that people were using. So, I mean, is security lake just like a data lake, but with security data, or is there more to security lake?
Yeah, that's a great question. Data lakes are essentially aggregation of structured and unstructured data in one place. What we really heard from customers was that security teams have a very specific need. And if you look at the security persona and what they are dealing with, they want constant visibility across their full enterprise. Customers have obviously cloud workloads. Customers who are in the journey of moving to the cloud might be dealing with like hybrid environments. They might still have applications on premise, and then they have like gateway resources which are sending and streaming data. So there's multiple different sources, and as customers are moving towards the cloud as well, these logs and this information is getting more and more verbose, which is great because it provides more visibility, but it also increases the volume of data that needs to be managed and the number of sources that need to be managed. So we spoke to customers, and they highlighted some of these key challenges. One was this growing amount of sources and the growing amount of volume of data that they need to manage, and especially their security teams who have to go through this. I would say like finding a needle in the haystack type of a use case. The other thing that we heard, especially from customers, was that they had tried and went down the path of like building quote unquote data lakes to help the security teams. But like when it comes to security intelligence, there's querying that is specific to security personas, and they want to like run queries and get intelligence in that specific format. But when you're collecting data from all these different sources and different types of tools, the data might not be consistent, and it might come in different proprietary formats. You're going to like the DNS server, and it's logging records in a separate format. So all your networking tools are logging in different proprietary formats. So we wanted to take that challenge head on as well. And then we also heard from our customers that that they do not really have control on this data either. So we wanted to like give customers control of that security data, because there's great analytics tools in the industry today that can perform analytics. But then what happens is that sometimes those tools are like, you need to send that data to us, and now the customers want to build, let's say, a turnkey innovation solution for themselves, or they want to apply their custom analytics using their own analytic tools, but the data is now in this application, so it didn't really belong to them. So those are some of the key challenges, and we sort of like stepped back and we imagined if there was a service that would automatically build this security lake on behalf of the customers, give them full control, centralize and normalize the data that is needed, and then let us orchestrate the retention, the performance, the scale that cloud can provide to the security teams. And that's really where this whole concept came through. So really excited that now it's come to fruition with Amazon Security Lake. One of the underlying principles that we sort of like also emphasized on was this normalization. So last year at Reinforce, we announced the launch of Open Cybersecurity Schema Format, or OCSF. You want to learn more about it, ocsf.io. It's essentially an initiative for the community where Amazon, along with other partners in the industry for security information and image management, launched this initiative to help normalize that data. So that is, I think, the core foundation of Security Lake as well, is that not only are we creating a lake automatically for security personas, but we're also normalizing that information in OCSF format so that it's easier and simpler for security teams to run queries and find the information that they need.
So this seems like a big win for security teams, centralizing data to have more control over it. And I want to hear more about one part, because I know everybody has their preferred tools, right? We have native tools that we can use to analyze data. I've used Splunk in the past. What are the different ways that somebody can consume that data inside of that security lake?
Yeah, great point. And this is something that I get asked all the time now with customer conversations. Is like, hey, how does this fit into our existing use of analytic tools? So the great thing is that the model that the Security Lake is built on, and the problem that Security Lake is solving, is essentially the data management, or eliminating the customer's pain points of wrangling with the data. And then, over a period of time, the cost explosion that comes along with managing that data. So we wanted to solve that problem. It is 100% flexible for customers. Like you mentioned, like if I'm using, Splunk as my security incident event management tool, customers can actually continue to subscribe that data lake to their analytic tools of choice. And that could be either the tools that they're already using, such as Splunk and many of our other partners, or it could be, also adding in their own enrichment using our own AI/ML tools like, SageMaker, or building custom dashboards and views using Kibana or, QuickSight. So there is full flexibility for customers to leverage that Security Lake, and then add analytics on top of that.
Himanshu, I love the flexibility that Security Lake has. And I know with flexibility, there still has to be some best practices with any service, right? I mean, we're SAs, we love asking about best practices. So any best practices as customers are thinking about how to implement Security Lake?
Yeah, one of the things that this is something that, again, we are talking to customers every day now, is that it's important to evaluate where all you want to bring the information from. So just like I mentioned, the flexibility on subscribing the data, there's also flexibility in the sources of information. So not only AWS log sources, so obviously, like AWS applications, record all our logs in like flow logs and CloudTrail. So just at a click of a few buttons in the AWS console, Security Lake can automatically start ingesting these sources without customers having to explicitly go and enable any of these AWS logs, which is a big value proposition, and especially from a cost standpoint as well. The second one is where evaluating what other non-AWS log sources you might have. So these could be either enterprise applications or enterprise solutions that they might be using, endpoint applications that they might be using, or like non-AWS workloads as well. So from a best practice standpoint, first evaluate what all are the sources, and then the Security Lake service provides the ability to add as many sources as you want. And then secondly, what I've also been discussing with customers is that when they were building these purpose-built data sets, they had quite a pain point on who all has access to that, and where all should the data reside. And now that we've given customers full control on that data, they can aggregate these across multiple accounts. They can aggregate this across multiple regions. They can also do cross-regional aggregation if they desire. So the best practice is to define, who's going to be that centralized AWS account where you want to build that security lake using our built-in constructs of AWS organization for multi-member management, and then the cross-regional aggregation, for data sovereignty reasons or complying with GDPR, etc. So those are some of the best practices that I recommend customers to evaluate, before they set up the security lake service.
Yeah,
Awesome.
I absolutely love that. So Himanshu, I mean, where can people go to really learn more, possibly get started?
Yeah, so I think the two places that I recommend is obviously all the Amazon Security Lake now is in preview, so it's available to all of our customers to leverage at no cost for the service itself, which means that in 7 commercial regions, customers can actually go into their AWS console and start leveraging the service. And then the documentation is available. That's the first place I'll recommend customers to go and read more about the service. And secondly, there's some good blogs already available on the AWS blogs for the Amazon Security Lake as well. So those are 2 great resources for our customers to leverage.
Excellent. That's exciting stuff. I feel like we're going to learn, just having the data and the tools to analyze it, customers are just going to learn so much about their environment. So this is excellent.
Yeah, super excited to have the service finally available. It's been very refreshing to hear something working backwards from customers' pain points, and then obviously the service teams supercharged up as well because they've imagined this service for quite some time. So now that it's live, we're whosoever you are and howsoever way you want to get in touch with us, either directly or through your AWS sales team, please reach out, and we're here to help enable customers in their security journey in the cloud.
This is absolutely awesome, Himanshu. Thank you so much for taking the time to tell us about Security Lake today.
My pleasure.